Hello everybody, today is November 3rd and the market has just closed. We are here because we feel compelled to give an update on Tesla based on the price action we saw today. Now for the majority of the last week, we had been calling for volatility to come in Tesla and a pause in the squeeze, and that was due to the Vanna and Charm flows, that is the call decay of very short dated options. Those are primarily options that are tied to the 11.5, that's Friday's expiration. And the stock has been contained in this 1170 to 1165 area. Now, we talked about why the stock would remain contained in that area, but today something very interesting happened. So on top here, we have obviously the price of the Tesla stock, but on the bottom, you can see there is this very interesting white line. Now, what this white line is, it's our HIRO indicator. And what the HIRO indicator does, this is a proprietary indicator, it tracks the options delta that have traded on the day. So anytime someone buys a call or sells a put, we calculate the delta, that is the hedging impact or estimated hedging impact of that trade, and we track that in a cumulative function here. So as you can see, to start the day, the delta indicator went south, the HIRO indicator went south. This indicates that traders were either selling calls or buying puts, and you can see that the stock followed in kind. Here, there's a big pop in the deltas go up, and up you see a big sharp move in the stock. So this is, in this area, you have traders buying calls or selling puts, right? It's the inverse of this trade that just took place. So that's sort of the basis or the fundamentals of how that HIRO indicator works. If you see lots of call buying, the HIRO indicator should jump up. Now, what happened here is really why we are making this video. Jay Powell comes out, the FOMC presser occurs at this point, and some type of word or phrase, the magic words were whispered and the stock absolutely shot up. But what we really want to draw everybody's attention to is obviously this. This is an incredible move. What this is people who are buying calls or selling puts in Tesla. And the magnitude, the speed at which this rose is something that we have not yet seen, and we've been monitoring this indicator on a daily basis for about 6 months. I want to just click over quickly to the S&P just to give you an idea. So if we look at the S&P indicator for today, this is the total S&P. So this is all of the SPX and all of the SPY options. So we move basically down 40 or 50,000. 50,000 is this low point here, and we revert all the way back up to essentially zero on the day. So this is like 100,000 deltas round trip, but basically delta neutral on the day from this perspective. Now, if we flip back to Tesla, you get an idea of just how big that move is. This is an incredible unleashing of positive delta trades, call buying, and put selling. Now we note that the volume for the 1200 strike that expires on 11.5 was 140,000 calls traded. The volume for the 1250s was 80,000. The volume for the 1300s was 64,000. Those are incredibly high marks for call activity, leading to a total trade of 1.1 million calls on the day, which is about average for what we've seen over the last 2 weeks. But the fact of the matter is that all occurred in this very short time frame. The bulk of that delta, right, the meat of the trade happened here. And then look what happens. The stock obviously shoots much higher. It goes from roughly 1175 all the way up to about 1210, and then it takes this little pause along with the deltas taking a pause, and then you see another climb into the close. And then you see this absolutely massive stock print here, which coincides with this kind of final rip higher. We think this is a lot of deltas. Dealers have to buy positive deltas to cover from this, right? At 4 o'clock and 4:15, at that close, market makers and dealers, they need to make sure that their book is hedged. And if they just took on a whole bunch of positive delta trades to square themselves up, that's this type of last minute buying activity that we would expect to see. So again, we are calling for low volatility into the trading week. This unexpected volume calls us to look for really an increase of volatility now for Thursday and Friday. And we think that this is a huge signal that there's now major pressure building in the stock. I mean, this was, the magnitude of this move is really something else. Again, this is the reason right here that we felt compelled to make a new video to update our position, because, when the market changes, you need to adjust your view of the stock, and that is what we are doing here. We think it's valuable to take a look at the position that existed in Tesla as we came into today's market. So this is called our Equity Hub. You can get a free subscription to this by hitting the subscribe now button here. But all we need to do is go down to this box, type in Tesla, And we can see what the options position was to start the day. So you can see that 1200 was the high gamma strike. That's where most of the gamma was concentrated in Tesla, and 40% nearly of that position expires this Friday. So that was the setup to start, and you can see how that was a cap for the market today, and then we kind of punched through that into the close. And that is a function of all of that buying that we saw in the short dated options, as we showed you on the HIRO. So now that these 1200 calls are going to shift likely in the money, if this price can hold overnight, you could have what sets up as functionally a squeeze. Now, we think a lot of those calls that started the day, as we entered the day, they were probably short calls, right? Short 1200, short 1250, short 1300, people trying to collect some time decay on some seemingly expensive options. That might be a forced cover squeeze trade now, right? Whatever happened with Powell to give this kind of green light, something shifted at that 2:30 time frame that invoked all of these deltas. So we're going to look for the call open interest, which is here. We're going to look for that to shift higher. I think the put open interest will change obviously heavily as well, with 900,000 puts trading on the day. But what we're looking for is these values to shift up. Now, if you look and we scroll down a little bit, in general, when we see this hedge wall, if this moves to a higher strike, we think that higher prices are due for Tesla. Now that the stock has jumped this, we think that the hedge wall may shift up to a new strike tomorrow because of all of the volume, again, that took place in the last hour and a half of trading. So it's going to be very interesting to see that. And again, the other thing we're going to be looking for is a pretty good increase in call totals. That will confirm that all of this volume that we saw here in the HIRO indicator was real volume, right? That this was going to convert to open interest and not just people trying to day trade and invoke a squeeze in the name. This is very curious, very strange volume, and we think that is a pretty bullish sign for the stock. Again, tomorrow, if our levels shift higher in the equity hub, that will be the confirmation. Again, hedge wall higher, key gamma strike higher. That'll be the confirmation that this squeeze has renewed. So we hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions, please send them to us at info@spotgamma.com. Hit us up at SpotGamma on Twitter, and don't hesitate to leave a question in the comment section below. Thanks.